All right, we are doing the Circling Back 1, Project 1, entering tasks on page 119 of your textbook. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is have Microsoft Project open, and in the News section, we're going to click here on New if you aren't already there, and we're going to click on Blank Project here. Okay. And the first thing that we're going to do is, remember we talked about this before about tasks being manually scheduled. We don't want to do manually scheduled. We want to go ahead and do auto scheduled. So you can go ahead and click right down here on the manually scheduled, and you can change it to auto scheduled by just selecting it and clicking on it. And now all new tasks are auto scheduled. Okay, and then we are going to go up to the Project tab, okay, which is right here, and click on Project, and then we are going to select Project Information, and we are going to put in our start date of our project, which is going to be May 6th, 2019. So of course, this is defaulting to today's date, and like I said, they just created these practice exercises. So in order for them to be good for a little while, they have done them out through 2019, so they'll be good for a couple of years for class purposes. So I'm going to click on make sure I have May 6th of 2019. I'm going to say OK, and then we're going to save it. So we're going to do a File, Save As, and I always put mine on my OneDrive. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to put my last name, of course, here, and so this will be Halloran RFP Bank Software Tasks, and I can just do CB1 for Circling Back 1, and then P1 for Project 1, and then save that. Okay, so now the next step we're going to do is on the ribbon in the Properties group. Okay, we're going to go to the Properties group here, and we are going to click on Change Working Time. Okay, and we are going to add into there the following exception dates. So the first exception day is going to be Memorial Day on May 27th, 2019. So we're going to just call that Memorial Day, and that is going to start. Make sure that you're getting into the 2019 year by clicking on the little forward arrow. Okay, so we've got May 27th, 2019. Okay, and then we want this to occur yearly on the last Monday of May for 2 occurrences. Okay, so since we need to do this for 2 years, we're going to go ahead and make sure this is selected here, the Memorial Day, and click on Details. Okay, and we're going to do a reoccurrence of a yearly reoccurrence, and we are going to change that the last Monday of May. So we're going to change this here to the last Monday of May yearly, and we want to do it for 2 occurrences. So we're going to click the little up arrow, and it will be for 2 years, so 2019 and 2020. So go ahead and click OK, and now you have your Memorial Day from 5/27. So even though this says 5/25 is the Memorial Day, Monday will fall on May 25th in the year 2020, whereas in 2019, it's going to fall on the 27th. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and click in our next box because we have Independence Day that we need to put in here. Okay, so we're going to type in there Independence Day. Okay, and our first one is going to be July 4th of 2019. Okay, and then it says to occur yearly on July 4th for 2 occurrences. So let's get into the details there. And we're going to do yearly on July 4th, and we're going to do 2 occurrences here. Okay, and it's going to and you don't have to choose this this option here because we're not asking it to be on the first day or a second day. We just want it to be on July 4th for the 2 occurrences. So go ahead and just say okay. And then it will, because July 4th is always falls on July 4th, whereas Memorial Day is always the last Monday of the month. So that's why we set this one up July 4th, 2019 and July 4th of 2020. Okay, and then we're also going to do the Labor Day. And this one, of course, is always going to be the first Monday. So our dates are going to be different again, just like Memorial Day. All right. Whoops. Okay, so we're going to go here and get into September. And the first Monday in September is September the 2nd. And we want to get into the details. And this time we're going to do yearly, and of course on the first Monday of September. And we're going to end after 2 occurrences. Okay. So the next year, Labor Day is actually on the 7th in 2020. So it will be on the 7th. Okay, so now we're going to click on OK to save all those working times. Okay, and now we are in the Gantt chart view, as you can see here on the side, Gantt chart view. Okay, and we are going to go ahead and start entering some tasks in here. Okay, and you could always click here on the task tab and always change to the Gantt chart view from here when you need to get to a Gantt chart, but we just happen to be in there anyway under the project. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video after I do a couple of these because it's going to take quite some time here in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the first one here, which is our task name. And in this exercise, you're going to actually be learning how to put a schedule in from scratch, whereas you were looking at documents already created before and just doing some things to those documents. So now you're going to actually have some practice in doing these. And be really careful when you're doing these because we want to make sure that you get the correct durations in there. And don't forget that the first one here is 0 duration, and what is 0 days or 0 duration is always a milestone, right? Which is identified by the black diamond, okay? So make sure that you remember that, and be sure that your tasks are being auto-scheduled also. All right, we should have done that before. I mean, we did do that before, but just double check yours. Okay, and our next task in here is RFP creation. And we don't have any duration on that because that's going to be a phase or what we call a category. So this is where it's really important, is the next one here, RFP creation begins, because we want to make sure that one is actually going to be a milestone with the 0 days, okay? And as we create this here, we're going to do an indent on this one because it is falling under the RFP creation. So now you see that this changed to 0 days here because it's just the phase name or category name. So always be really careful about these indentions, okay? And then the RFP creation begins 0 days. That's our milestones, okay? 0 days are always milestones. And when we did the a couple of exercises ago, we had to be really careful with these indentions and make sure that everything gets lined up under the correct category, because that will affect the starting and finishing dates of these tasks. So I'm going to go ahead now and put the video on pause and finish typing in all my tasks, okay? Okay, I have finished creating my tasks here under the RFP creation, and I double check and make sure I have my days in and make sure that I am indented underneath RFP creation. These will affect your starting and end dates once you start linking. Now I'm going to pause the video again because I'm going to go ahead and enter the tasks in for the RFP release and put my durations in there, and then I will come back into the video. Now I have finished putting my tasks in, and I went down here to RFP release phase. Okay, and I double checked and made sure that all my durations were correct. And then you need to make sure that here on determined deadline dates for vendor, this is only 2 hours, not 2 days. And the same here is we have 6 hours and not days. Okay, so make sure that when you are choosing these, that you put in hours instead of the days. And then down here, my RFP solicitation process is complete. Okay, and you want to just make sure that that is all the way back to the left. To be sure, it will say it can't be outdented any further. Notice our milestones, the 0 days durations. There's all our milestones, and those are going to change once we start linking with the finish to start relationships. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just click on the little save icon just so we don't lose the work that we have done. And we're going to select tasks 1. So let me go back up here and grab number 1 by getting my little right facing arrow. And then we're going to select 3 through 10, okay? So remember that you can do your control on your keyboard and select all of these here. And then also it says 12 through 19. Okay, so I'm going to continue with my control. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit here and continue selecting, holding the control down all the way through 19. And we're going to link them with a finish to start relationship. And remember, we're going to come up here in the schedule group, and we're going to click on our little link icon. And you can always remember that the default is a finish to start relationship. Okay. So always remember that. So if you have to change it, then that's where you will go in and change your linking relationship there. But it does default from a finish to start. And to just double check to make sure that it is a finish to start, you just have your text your task selected, and you double click, get your information, task information dialogues box will open, and you will be on the predecessors tab, and here is your finish to start relationship. So if you did need to change it, that's how you would go in and change either to start But usually finish to start and start to start are the most common used there. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and click Save, and this part of Project 1 is now complete, and then I will make another video for the next step.